Hi, I'm Georgie, and welcome back to the Ava Wellness podcast. If your wellness to-do list is never ending and you're overwhelmed by trends and information being thrown your way, then we are here to simplify it. So, if you're ready to own your health, keep listening. Hi guys, welcome back to the podcast. I'm Georgie, your host, and today we have, I know I say this like every week, but we do have a very, very special guest. He is the brother of one of my best friends. And it's James Bertrand. Sorry, I introduced you as the brother of your sister, but anyway, I love their family so much, and I feel like I'm with a friend already, so thank you for coming.
No, thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So James is someone with an incredible story, and you know I love an incredible story. But also he's through adversity, he's come through it, and now he's setting up a motivational speaking company or services for people, and he is just the perfect person to do that. I feel like people who are on stage and presenting these things have to have lived it, and he's really lived it. So tell us about yourself. Give us your story.
Thank you for having me, Georgie. Just to tell you a bit about me. So I am very family orientated. I'm one of four, so I have two older sisters and an identical twin brother. Me and my twin brother have that kind of bond that's very indescribable, just because what we went through as babies. We were born at 28 weeks with a rare condition called twin-to-twin transfusion. So obviously you're meant to have 9 months in the womb, and we had 6 months. We had 2/3 of the amount of time that we should have. So when we were born at £2.3 and £2.13 ounces. So about the size of a bag of sugar. So we were born very small, very premature, and it's due to a rare condition that we had called twin-to-twin transfusion. So identical twins, they share 50% of everything that a baby needs to grow and nourish. Whereas with twin-to-twin transfusion, one baby is completely overloaded and the other twin is completely deprived. So I was the twin who was overloaded, my brother was deprived, and due to being overloaded, I got too much blood. So due to having too much blood, I developed blood clots in both my legs. I had emergency surgery. I was rushed to Great Ormond Street and then had to leave Tom behind in Hillingdon, which would have been horrendous for my parents, having to separate straight away. But I had emergency surgery on my legs where they tried to do everything they could to save them. After 18 months, unfortunately my left leg was just too severely damaged where it was no longer functional for me. They managed to save my right leg, but after doing that, I lost all the fat and muscle tissue from my calf downwards. I lost the main artery of my leg. My foot was left in a fixed position, and due to the lack of protection under my foot, I couldn't walk on hard surfaces without shoes on. So growing up being that part of my early childhood was extremely challenging for me, extremely tough for my parents, and obviously the rest of my family, my sisters and everyone else around me. I just had to learn at a very early age that I had to fight. Me and my brother both had to fight, and that's what we've done throughout our whole life. And obviously those challenges then kind of proceeded with my right leg being very sensitive and very tough to kind of, I dealt with a lot of pain throughout my whole life. And at the age of 19, I remember we were on a family holiday, and I remember talking to my dad in the pool or the hot tub, wherever it was. And I just kind of ran the idea because we were walking around the pool and my foot just was hurting so much. And it was something that I'd always put up with, and it was always made more prominent on holidays because I would always be walking around the pool with my shoes off, and it was just so painful, and I almost got to the point where I didn't want to walk, or I had a lot of, not fear is the wrong word, but I didn't want to walk in certain places because I knew it would hurt. So I ran the idea past it, like, do you think, what if I had my right leg amputated? And I think that conversation both took us back, but it opened the gateway to what would happen next. So with my mum, I get my legs made down in Dorset Orthopedic, and we spoke to my prosthesist and said, what is there available? And we found out that there was a surgery called osseointegration. And osseointegration is where they would amputate my leg, they would hollow out the bone and insert a metal implant, which would then act as a permanent prosthetic. This surgery wasn't available on the NHS, and it cost £64,000. So I had to do a lot of fundraising, and in a year I raised 53,000, which it was a very humbling experience, knowing that I had such support around me, and there were so many people, and even strangers who I'd never even met before, were donating towards my cause. But it was also obviously very bittersweet, because I knew that at the end, all this money, what was being raised for, and that was to have my right leg amputated. And the surgery had only been done on 500 people in the world. So I didn't know what the long-term benefits were. I didn't know if it was going to work. But yeah, I had to just trust my gut and put my faith in the surgeon. And yeah, I'm just fast forward 7 years later. I'm walking, and I'm overcoming things that I never thought I'd be able to achieve. And yeah, I've had to put up with a lot, but I have that mindset, that resilience that I've learned at a young age to get me through.
Oh my God!
I feel like I gave you a lot there.
Already.
It's
the way that you speak about it is so wonderful for a lot of people, and I know that personally. Like to go through a journey of I don't know about you, but I hid a lot of things and didn't want to speak about it for a long time, and then to go through that journey for you to be able to speak like that about your story is such an achievement in itself. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you.
The word resilience means a lot to me, and I want to pick up on that. What was the turning point? Because obviously it's such a brave decision 7 years ago to say to your dad, I think I want to have my other foot amputated. That's such a I can't even fathom the bravery that takes to make that decision. What was the trigger for you to give you the strength to decide that for yourself?
I don't, if I'm being totally honest, I don't know what triggered it. I think that I had put up with a lot, and it's kind of almost that straw that breaks the camel's back.
Yeah.
I can't definitively tell you that exact time, I don't think, but I think I just know that every time I did something, like I played football, or I went on a hike, or I walked on a pebble beach, or I walked on the gravel driveway, or the hard surfaces at home, I knew that every time I did that, I was getting pain. I ran a 5K, and to see the bottom of my foot after that, and the pain that I got after that, it was very eye-opening to just see, because I put up with a lot, and I think I'm definitely the type of person that sometimes pushes what I've gone through to the back of my mind. But I didn't want to do that anymore, and I just wanted to be pain-free, to be honest.
Yeah.
And although it was a big decision, I've made, I mean, not decisions as big as that, but I know what I've been through, I've always overcome. So whatever decision that I was going to make, I just always knew that I was going to get through the other side.
Yeah, and it's given you sort of increased resilience making that decision, I guess. So anything that comes at you now, I guess, is
child's play.
Water off a duck's back, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Honestly, it's incredible. I can't wrap my head around making that decision on your own body. But yeah, so powerful. And was there a time in your life where you flipped from the headspace of this is so unfair that this has happened to me, to I'm going to take this and I'm going to fight against it, and I'm going to run a 5K, and I'm going to do these challenges, I'm going to raise the money, and that fighter spirit that you mentioned at the beginning. Do you remember when that happened? Or?
Well, I don't think I've ever been in the mindset of kind of that victim mentality.
Amazing.
I think that because I've dealt with it at such a young age, it's something that I've grown up with, and in a way I'm really grateful that it is something that I've learned from a young age and had to deal with from a young age. I think if I was put in that situation where I had 2 legs and then from having 2 legs to being a double amputee, I think that would be extremely tough. But I think the fact that I've learned what happens, and it's just made me always just want to look at what happens after, if that makes sense. Like, life is always seasonal. Another thing that my dad said is that you don't know what the good times are unless you know the bad times, right? Until you experience the bad.
Love that.
And I just
write that down somewhere.
and I just know that, I mean, I've had, in my life I've had over 30 operations. Sorry, 30
operations?
Yeah. So
on your legs?
I've had about 15 on my legs. I've had, or 15 on my left leg. I think I've had 4 or 5 on my right leg. Operations when I was a baby. I had an arthritis condition, so I've had operations on my thumbs.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, I've been through a lot, but like I was saying, I know that when I have that operation, I knew the process. I knew it was go in, have the surgery, come out. That's when the recovery starts. The recovery happens over 2 to 3 months. I get back to what I'm doing.
So you've boxed it off mentally. That's such a man thing to do, isn't it? It's very like, this is what happens. And then, whereas a woman's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, what am I going to do?
I think that I put it black and white, but in my mind it wasn't as black and white as that. Like, I think the best way that I dealt with it, until I think about it, is not how I didn't really understand that I did it like this, but I love a challenge. And even when I was going in for my operations, I used to challenge myself that I wanted to stay awake for 10 seconds before the anaesthetic took me out.
I used to do that.
So I just made it into a little game.
Did you ever have the balloon as a child?
No, I didn't like the gas and air, so I had the...
Oh, it's the best way to... And also, I'll stand, but it's a bit controversial, but anaesthetic... And I'm very sort of don't want to put anything unnatural in my body kind of person.
Yeah.
However, anaesthetic is the most relaxing place you'll ever be in your life. The moment before you fall asleep, you're like, oh my God, I've never been so relaxed.
So, I mean, like and it got to the point where if I knew that I was... So the reason why I had to have so many operations on my left leg is that my bone would grow faster than my actual leg.
I see, okay.
So if I didn't have the bone revised, the bone would grow through my leg, and then I wouldn't be able to wear my prosthetic. So this happened every 9 to 12 months, depending on how fast I was growing. So from the age of probably like 2 to 16 years old, this is when I had the operation. So every time I had an operation coming up, it sounds really weird, and I think this is just the way that I dealt with it, but I got a bit excited because it meant that I had another chance to see if I could beat my record at staying awake under anaesthetic. So
that is so wonderful.
I feel like if I saw it as I have to have another operation, I have to have another period of time where I'm recovering, where I'm in a wheelchair or on crutches, I think having to go through that mentally, I think it's going to drain anyone, isn't it? So
it's tough.
And I think the biggest thing I can say here is just the way that you perceive the situation that you're in. I mean, perception is such a huge thing, and when you look at, I mean, even when I look at other people, I see that, I don't know, I see people in a worse position than me, and it makes me feel incredibly grateful, and that's all about perception, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So if we can just change the way that we perceive a situation, we can then, me personally, I found it much easier to then rationalise. And then once I could rationalise it, we could just get it done. I would
compartmentalise and move forward.
Yeah, 100%. And that's not to say that I didn't have times where I was just so annoyed and angry. I had those times, and I'm not going to lie, I did have times, but not over a long period of time, but outbursts of why does it always happen to me? And I think, to be honest, that's perfectly natural when
it's totally understandable.
When you have someone, when obviously when I'm going through everything that I went through. And I think I remember one time vividly where this was very a standout moment for me, when I think me and my brother, we used to argue quite frequently, but there was this one time where I think it was just worse than usual, and I think that my mum came up to me and was just like, oh, like, what's wrong? And I just broke down, because I was the anger that came out there was the frustration that everything that I was going through. And during that time, I get my legs made down in Dorset Orthopaedic. I think when I was about 14 or 15, I had my funding cut from the NHS for Dorset, meaning that I had to go somewhere else. So we ended up going to Nuffield. And this is during my time with my GCSEs, etc. I went to Oxford, I had to drive to Oxford, which was probably a 2-hour round trip. I had 15 appointments and 3 legs, and they just couldn't get my leg made. So my left leg was too short for me, but Dorset couldn't lengthen it because they didn't have funding or approval to do so, and Nuffield couldn't lengthen it because Dorset had made the leg. So I was stuck with a leg that couldn't be altered, and I also couldn't get a leg made for me. And after 15 appointments and 3 different sockets that still didn't fit, I just went, I think I took the max capacity that I could at that time, and I just let it out, and I think that came out in anger and frustration and confusion. But this is where I'm so grateful. My mum, I'll probably talk about a lot in this, she is just the real life superwoman. And
I can vouch for that.
She will do and she still will, but when I was growing up, she did absolutely everything she could to make my life better. And she fought with the NHS and got me funding back to Dorset to make sure that I could get the legs that I needed. And after 3 appointments, I had a leg made, and everything was great. So yeah, my mum is just the best woman you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
And she calls us her chicks, and she'll do anything that she can for her chicks.
Oh, she's wonderful.
And yeah, she's throughout everything, she's been there with all my operations, all my appointments growing up. I think she doesn't, not so much now, but probably until a good age, about 22, 23, she was coming to my appointments with me. And yeah, she's just incredible.
Quick pause before we dive back in. If you're looking to truly support your mind and body every day, then you need to check out the Arbor app. I created Arbor to give you round-the-clock access to expert-led workouts, holistic wellness tools, and real mindset support, all in one place. Whether you're starting out or if you're deep into your wellness journey, Arbor meets you where you're at. Download the app today, and we're giving you a 2-week free trial to start moving, breathing, and living better. Now back to the episode. I often wonder if we didn't have parents like that going, everyone goes through something traumatic, you in particular. I often wonder to myself all the appointments that I've had to go to every single year, and every I was just telling you before the podcast, every stupid bad news thing that the doctors told me, if my parents weren't there, like what the outcome would be, I feel would be very different for me. I don't know if you feel the same. Yeah,
100%, and especially when at that young age, it's much easier to accept of what's being said to you. You don't really have
sweep under the rug until you get to an age where you're like, okay, I actually want to understand.
Yeah.
What's happened?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, exactly. And it's when you are that young, you don't 100% or fully understand. I don't know if this was for you, but like what is actually being said to you.
I know. I chose to completely ignore.
Really?
Yeah. And my mum also had battles with medication I was on for a long time. She's a nutritionist as well. And she's like, don't put that in my child, blah, blah, blah. And, it's horrendous. And I just really, you're so inspirational I always use this saying, actually, I put 2 fingers up at the doctors, don't recommend that. But you've done exactly the same. And I really appreciate and respect that so much. Like you've done your own thing. You've walked your own path. People have told you can't do something, or this will affect you, or this will, knock you. And you've been like, nope, I'm doing it anyway.
But
it's rare. It's super rare.
But I feel like when you're faced with adversity, you almost that's where the determination comes from. You want to fight, you want to prove wrong that you can do everything. And I think this is where a part of the reason why I've done a lot of challenges that I have done, just to prove that I can do it. There's in my eyes, I don't have a disability. I can do everything that anyone else does. And just an example of that is that I don't know if you've heard of the Red Bull 400.
Yes.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, and so for people who are listening, The Red Bull 400. So I did it in September 2024. Wow. So last year, and it's a big old ski slope that's 75% gradient, 37 degree incline. Basically, it's a massive ski slope. Yeah, as you say. And I saw this girl, Millie Pickles. I don't know if you've heard of her. Yeah, she became the first amputee to complete it.
She's amazing,
Yeah, she was amazing. And like, just to see her do that, I thought, I would love to do that, and I want to become the first double amputee to do that. So I trained for a year, and I had a triathlon in between it, so I was training for the triathlon, but I did the most Stairmaster that I've ever done in my entire life to train for it, which was so boring.
Yeah.
But we flew to Finland, and I stood in front of that hill after doing all the training that I'd done, and they did it in waves. So I think I was wave 36. So I watched 35 waves in front of me go ahead, and there were people who were cutting out at the midway because they couldn't finish it. After 5 minutes, they would send up a new wave. So if you hadn't completed it, that would you would then get people running past you. And I like to think that I'm very kind of focused, and not much could faze me. I had in my head that I was going to do it, but after watching the heats, it kind of gave me flashbacks like sports day, that people would like run past me, and that sinking feeling that I would get. And I thought, oh God, if that's going to happen in this, like I just had started to have a lot of self-doubt. But I stepped up to the bottom, just looked up at this massive slope, and the klaxon went, and I just went, and I finished in 4 minutes and 16 seconds, and I came 600th out of 1,500 people. So I beat 900 people without I don't want to toot my own horn too much, but I beat 900.
Toot that horn. Toot the horn.
That's
amazing.
I beat 900 fully able people.
I can't eat that. What an achievement.
Yeah, but the thing after, I had to go down 300 steps after I'd done that. That was harder with my jelly legs. And then I got to run up and hug my girlfriend and my family, and it was just...
Do you have any videos?
I don't have any video. I have videos of me climbing it. I don't have any videos of the reunion.
We'll share some if we've got some videos. Yeah. That's incredible.
It was amazing. Yeah. So, and just going back to your point, that it's just something I wanted to prove that I could do. It's
all about proving people wrong, isn't it? That's where
that's where the determination, and the fight comes from.
I have a really fragile and interesting question for you, and it's just popped into my head because you've inspired me. And that is, I went through a stage of people going through... the way I would see it is, I know everything's relative. I've learnt that. Mm-hmm. I'll use my brother. He won't let me. He won't listen. So he was going through a bit of a stressful time, but in relation to what you've been through, or what I feel like I've been through, or some serious trauma, right? And he was getting, I have to say this in a really careful way. He was getting very impacted and flustered by something that I saw was quite small, and I went through a stage of being like, get yourself together, people go through worse things, and had to go on a journey of learning everything's super relative. Like, someone's small trauma could be the biggest thing in their life in comparison to
100%
having 30 surgeries, which is so tough. I wonder your thoughts on that, in terms of everyone goes through different sort of hierarchy or different heats of grief and trauma, and everyone reacts to it, so I'm getting there, differently. Why is that? Do you think because if you've been through constant hits in your life that you are almost numb to the little things? It's tough. Does that make sense?
It does. I think that, like you say, it's all relative. The person who's going through something that, say, for example, I don't know, they might be having surgery for the first time, and that's their biggest thing that they've ever had to go through. So they don't know any different. So the way that they would respond, and it might seem little, I don't know, to someone like me and you, and I think that it's all relative, because that's the biggest thing they're going to go through, and they're going to react the same way to the biggest thing that we're going to go through.
Do you have empathy for those people?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
It took me a while to learn that. It sounds, I'm putting myself sound like a horrible person.
No, not at all.
It took me a while to empathise.
Yeah,
with.
and I think that's it. It's having the empathy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's when you. I feel like, and it's one of the reasons why I want to do my motivational speaking, is that empathy, and when you're open, it creates connectivity. Empathy and vulnerability, it creates that connectivity with everyone. So I feel like when you are open, and it allows other people to be open. And when I finish my talks, people come up to me and say, "That's amazing. I'm going through something. I might be going through something similar."
Yeah.
And that right there, like I have to be empathetic there, but I don't feel like I have to be. I straight away am, because I think that everybody has their own story, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter how big or how small it might seem to anyone else. It's their story and it's big to them.
Yeah.
So I think that we need to give everyone a lot more credit for what they go through.
For opening as well, yeah.
And for talking about it, because I think it's a huge thing.
And your motivational speaking, let's get on to that. What is that? What do you want to do with that? Is it to help people become more open by sharing your story? Is it to guide them in a particular healing journey?
I think that people will... So my goal is for people to get what they want out of their talk. I don't want to deliver... I want to deliver the same message, but I want to get people to get different things out of it, what's relative to them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I want to give them the tools and strategies to help them cope with their daily struggles or their big struggles, anything that it might be, any challenges that they face. I talk about kind of remembering what you've overcome, kind of taking accountability, those type of things, and remembering your why. They're the three main things that I talk about in my talk. And someone might take one of those points, someone might take all three. It completely depends on their situation. But I like to talk about a few things just so they can take something from it. And if they just take one thing, I feel like I've done my job. Yeah.
And do you feel like this is a purpose of yours, to help others?
I love helping others. I think that makes me feel when I'm at my best.
Yeah.
I think that the more people who help each other, very cliche, but the nicer that the world becomes. And if you help someone and that person helps someone else, you get a big old chain, and you get a lovely society.
We've lost the art of just simple human kindness, I feel. A lot of us have, and it goes so far.
But it's so easy to focus on ourselves, and I'm very guilty of that as well. I don't want to sit here and people think that I've got it all figured out, but because I don't. But I feel like that people they just focus on themselves because it's just their world.
Yeah.
And everyone else is living in it.
Yeah.
But we just need to widen our view about what's going on. Take a step out and zoom out a bit, and just see that everyone has their own problems, and if we are just nicer and kinder to everyone,
everyone's struggling, right?
And if someone can relate to someone else to help them, which is what I really want to do during my talks, that just means that I'm doing the job that I set out to do.
I love that. So where is James now? Mentally, physically, as a person?
So James right now is living an incredible life with his girlfriend in Chiswick. I met my girlfriend 2 years ago, or coming up to 2 years. And I struggled with the ladies when I was younger, I'll be honest.
I doubt it.
And when I met her, it sounds, again, really cliche, but I just knew that she was the one. We chatted, and I think we saw each other 5 times in the first 2 weeks of dating, and then I went off to the Philippines, which I thought, I booked it before I met her, so I went solo, and I'd never done anything like this, and as soon as I left, I was just thinking about her the whole time. So when we came back, it didn't take us long to make it official. We're living a great life. We go on hikes, we go on challenges, we go on adventures, which is amazing. I'm currently working on building my motivational business, motivational speaking business. So it's called Anything Made Possible. which is short for AMP. Oh, yeah, AMP for short.
So clever. Anything made possible.
Yeah. And then obviously AMP is short for amputee.
Okay.
So it's very, very clever, I have to admit.
It's genius.
But I feel like it just embodies what I believe. Anything is possible if you put your mind to it.
Yeah.
So
Preach.
Yeah.
Love it. And mentally and physically, personally, you're in a good spot.
Yeah, mentally,
you feel like you're ready to.
Yeah, mentally, I have my days. Like right now, I'm going through a little bit of a tough patch. With my leg, my leg stopped fitting. So it's been 5 months. I've been trying to get a leg sorted and a leg fit, and it's getting me by. It's just not 100% where I want it to be.
Yeah.
So I think I've driven like 1,000 miles over the last 3 or 4 months to get a leg fit, and it's like casting and everything. Like I have to drive down to Dorset, so that's been quite draining. But when I just have to look at the positives there. Like I get to come home to my girlfriend, and I have a really lovely. There are a lot of good things going on.
Yeah.
I think, like I said, I feel like motivation is great. You're not going to be motivated all the time, but when you have those things to look forward to, like those little things that you're grateful for, that's what keeps you going. I'm never going to stop, and I go back to what I said, like life is seasonal. I know that I'm going to get my leg fixed, and I know I'm going to go back to doing crazy things, and I just know it's going to get sorted. So although sometimes I do feel drained, I just think back to that, and I know everything's going to be okay.
There's always a way forward, isn't there?
Yeah.
And just to finish, I've got 2 more questions. How does well-being and little sort of daily things that you do, like I know you're an athlete, really.
Yeah. But, that's very kind of you to call me an athlete.
It's definitely an athlete. You are an athlete. You've done the Red Bull challenge. This honestly blows my mind. How you eat, how you sleep, your relationships. You said you've clearly got a wonderful one.
Yeah.
How does that impact you in particular, like looking after those elements of your life? I
think it's really important to look after yourself. I think it's great to have balance in your life. I think I love to gym. I try to gym probably about 4 times a week. I do a spin class. I golf. Like I probably am active probably 5-6 days a week. Mm-hmm. And then I focus on my eating as well. I want to eat well, get my veggies in. My girlfriend is a massive advocate. Since I met her, I've gone from my 2 a day to my 6 a day. So that's great. But I mentioned balance as well. I think it's very easy to get caught up on what you should be, how much you should be exercising, how much you should be, or how 100%. Well you should be eating, or how much. And I think that it's very easy to sometimes consume yourself with that. But yeah, having that right balance of having the healthy meals, having that. I love cookies. I love donuts.
We all do.
I'll have those as well.
We use the word accessible and sort of simplify it, Avra, because wellness, you hit the nail on the head, has become so overwhelming and so takes over your life that your wellness to-do list is a saying that we like. It's just so many things that you're having to fit in on top of life and living and work. Yeah. And you hit it on the head there in terms of it has to fit into your life as a balance, as an enjoyable thing that you want to do. Yeah. Day to day. Yeah.
That's how you maintain it, isn't it?
Yeah.
If it's too much, you can go too far and it's not sustainable, and then you stop and you feel like you failed.
Yes.
But
exactly.
When you do it with balance and you do it how you want to do it, it's far more sustainable, and that's what lasts, isn't it?
Love it. Okay, last question. We're starting a new tradition on the podcast.
Okay.
And that is, I'd love to hear from you, and we're going to repeat it to our next guest on your best wellness tip. And this can be anything: mental health, resilience. It could be your athlete challenges, anything in life that makes you feel a better version of yourself, that we will then share with the next guest.
That's a really good question.
Sorry, on the spot.
No, that's okay. Best thing that... Could you repeat it? The best...
Just a saying or anything that you believe in or you do that keeps you mentally, physically, or emotionally in a good place that you would want to pass on as advice to someone else?
Okay.
For instance, earlier you said you just got to look forward.
Yeah.
Or, you know, you've come out with some one-liners which I cannot wait to put all over Instagram. Which is, one of them was something along the lines of, this is what I've got to do, and then I know the future is brighter.
Yeah, okay. I think the one thing that I always will advocate for is remembering your why. Like, why are you doing something? So, for example, like, my why when I was doing the Red Bull 400 was, I want to become the first double amputee to do this. So all the training that I put in, I would just picture myself at the top of the ski slope, knowing, visualizing myself that I'd done it. And I think we can forget our why quite a lot throughout life. I think we might have our why, but that why might not be the right why, if that makes sense. So we might want to, I know we touched upon it earlier, but we might want to do it for someone else. But if we are constantly wanting to do, say for example, our why is money, and we want to buy flashy cars and nice watches and things like that because we want to look good in front of other people, like we're doing that for them. Like, that's not a sustainable why, and that's not gonna help you achieve in the future. Because, to be honest, we touched on it in the podcast, like, no one cares about you as much as you do. So if you're doing it for someone else, you're going to quickly be demotivated if that's what your why is. So if your why is intrinsic to you, like it's powerful to you, it could be your family, it could be you want to have a financially free life or anything like that. It needs to be valuable to you, and that's what's going to keep you going.
I love that. Focus on yourself.
Yeah, focus on yourself.
Where can people find you? Let's get them.
So my Instagram is just at James Bertrand.
Okay.
And if they are interested in booking me for a talk, my website is www.anythingmadepossible.com.
We'll put all of that in the show notes. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much
I
for
have
me.
cried 3 times, and you're amazing. You're literally incredible.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate you having me on the podcast. I really do.
I love your entire family. I want to be adopted. Thanks, guys, for joining, and we'll see you next time. I'll leave everything related to James in the show notes. Please go follow him, and hope you enjoyed. Catch you next time.
Thank you.
You're incredible.
Like, oh my god. My face is almost trying to speak about it.